What's going on, guys? Indy here with Ultimate 2 Reviews, and I've got a fun one for you today. Not really doing a review on this thing because I don't really own any equipment large enough to actually use this tool. Now, if you're wondering why I actually bought this tool, well, I got a crazy deal on this thing on eBay, right around $150. But this is the Makita GWT01. And this is going to be their basically highest, power impact wrench that Makita currently makes. This is a 3/4 of an inch, which is not super common unless you're working on heavy machinery or diesel trucks here, but this thing is absolutely massive. Funny enough, though, in the ad, this actually included a 3/4 to 1/2 inch adapter, and this is one of the Right brand ones here. I think it's like $30 or so, so kind of a cool little thing to be in the deal there. So I'm a big fan of Makita XGT. Pretty much if I find a good deal on the tool, I'm buying it. So these are some awesome tools. Do I need this high torque and impact wrench? Definitely not, but it's a really cool tool regardless. And I figured, hey, $150 because these things go for like $400 tool only. And I figured this is, a fantastic deal. I'll jump on it right now. If I even use it, 2 times in the future, it's still worth it to me. And of course, XGT stuff is very well made. Now, this thing actually surprised me because of just how big and heavy this thing is. But Makita does a really good job with trigger control and really, being able to use this tool for other stuff than just super high, high torque applications because it's just so, still comfortable and easy to use. Let's check out the weight of this thing. With a 2.5 amp hour battery, it's going to come in at 8 pounds, 8.4 ounces. So if we do tool only, this thing is very, very heavy for what it is. 7 pounds, 0.3 ounces there. And you might end up using a 4 amp hour battery pack on here to give yourself, of course, some more runtime. And you're going to come in at 9 pounds, 2.1 ounces there. So yeah, this thing is really, really heavy. And that's, of course, before any sockets or adapters or extensions on here. I did end up taking the belt clip off because it was just huge. I really had no need for that, of course. And let's actually see how long this thing is. I kind of thought this thing would actually be a little bit bigger in person, but it's really not terrible. It's very similar to most high torque impact wrenches. We're just under 9 inches here. Probably like 8 3/4 of an inch long here. Now, of course, it is very wide here. That's one thing to be aware of. Probably about 3.5 inches wide there from the widest point on the impact wrench there. But if we compare it to something like the Makita XWT18, which is the LXT mid-torque, so I've got a 5 amp hour battery on the mid-torque and the 2.5 on the XGT, which are pretty similar in size batteries there. Very, very close. You can just see, the difference in size between these two impact wrenches. It's pretty noticeable right away. I will say the LXT mid-torque is a fantastic size mid-torque. Very comfortable, not too heavy, but it's got plenty of power. It's a great balance of an impact wrench. You want something a little bit more powerful than the standard impact wrenches, but you don't want to jump into the high torque. A lot of the mid-torques are fantastic options, but you can see that this high torque or ultra high torque, whatever you want to call it, it's definitely got some size on it, but it's not like, wow, it's just towering over a lot of the other impact wrenches there. One thing that I thought was really unique about this impact wrench, though, is that it's actually got 2 lights. And I'm surprised that we don't see this on more drills and impacts. There's a light down here and a light up here. A lot of impact wrenches, they have the light up here. A lot of drills, at times like Metabo HPT, just have 1 light down here. I really like the Makita design of having 2 lights here. That's pretty unique there. And of course, we've got plenty of modes on here. The standard, 1 through 4 speeds, bolt removal modes, a lot of the usual stuff that you've probably seen on anything Makita in the past. Nothing, crazy or unique on there really at all. One thing I found that was unique and that I was a little surprised by Makita here is that this is a variable speed trigger, yes, but it's only a 3-speed variable trigger. A lot of other Makita triggers, they're upwards of 9, 10, 11 different speeds you can get, or just 3 speeds here. Check this out. And you can see how much play I have in that trigger. When I get to speed 1, 2, and then finally the final speed there, I can move that trigger quite a bit, about halfway in and out there, and it's all the same speed. Kind of unusual for Makita to actually have a trigger like that that's not super sensitive on these. I don't know why they're doing that. It might be a more high torque, more robust trigger on here. You might not really need that much sensitivity, but kind of unusual that Makita does not have their usual, very sensitive triggers on here. That's super, adaptive to however much pressure you put in that trigger. So I don't even own any 3/4 inch sockets. Of course, I'm going to use the adapter that is included with it. Also, it doesn't even look like the adapter was even really used that much, which is kind of interesting. But I've got a little piece of machinery here. I got some bolts on there. So let's pop these off quick, retighten them on. And of course, this thing will do this no problem. I definitely don't think it'll have any issue here. Yeah, we are barely impacting at all. This thing can just rip off bolts, absolutely no problem. All right, so here's one of my trailers here. Haven't pulled the bolts off this trailer in at least, I'd say, 4 to 5 years here. So let's try taking some of these nuts off, and of course, this thing will do this at no problem here. Yep, doesn't even struggle at all here. Put this down to speed 2 here to put these back on so I don't over torque them. I will say Makita does a really good job of, when you use different modes here, you can really make this, really ultra high torque impact wrench here somewhat still usable for stuff that doesn't actually need a high torque impact wrench. You can of course pull the bolts off this tire here, no problem, with even just a regular impact wrench, and tighten them back up of course too. So when you buy one of these things, it is really versatile to see just how well and easy it is to use with, having a lot of precision still. All right, guys, so at the end of the day, I'm probably never going to actually need to have this much torque that this tool can actually put out. Is it cool to have? Yeah, of course. I got a fantastic deal on this thing. Way cheaper than even just buying like a new high torque or even a new mid torque, because of course Makitas are very, very expensive. But it's cool to always check out these tools. It's kind of cool to see the new stuff Makita's doing with having 2 lights on here. Of course, the modes on here, some of this thing very useful as just like a regular impact wrench for doing a lot of different stuff. Now, does this ever replace a smaller impact wrench? Of course not. You could get away with it a little bit here, but you're probably going to end up snapping some bolts here and there because this thing is just way too powerful to use as a regular impact wrench. But of course, it's cool to have, cool to check out. Of course, guys, I can't really review this thing and show off, the crazy amount of power it's got, but it's still fun to check it out regardless anyways. And XGT as a system is very, very cool. Very impressive thing so far. And of course, these are made in Japan too. So if you didn't have to pick up one of these, for really, really cheap, I'd say go for it. You never know we're going to actually need this thing. But I like to have a tool even though I don't need it, but I'd rather have it and have it and not need it than need it and not have it. So guys, thanks for watching. Take care, guys. Have a great day and stay safe out there.